Hello, good morning and welcome. It's Tuesday the 5th of December and we'll start with the AUD USD. We had a bit of good news last night for the Australian dollar and it's come up. I've got knocked out of about 3 trades and I've just taken a new position just north of the support line. I was really expecting the AUD USD to go up to about the 77 mark. If we have a dip back down, I'm going to be putting a stop in behind that. I've put a trend line on the RSI, so either we get a bounce off the 50 and come back down, or we'll be moving up above the 50 and come down in a couple of days. We'll see how that goes anyway. Pound US dollar. We've had the first showing of a little bit of bad news. The alleged deal that was already done with the EU has had a few stumble blocks. So we're starting to see a little bit of a fall in the value of the pound. We have a short ratio of 1.19 to 1. Now, I know that seems very small, but when you look at the percentage change over the last 12 months, it is actually quite a large position. Right, so if you take this as the most bullish the commercials have been of the pound against the dollar, and as you see, we've moved down to this bearish position. This was the most bearish position, and they've actually moved back down to this position here. Where we are at the moment is about 90% bearish. So if this is 100% the most bearish they've been for the 12 months, this is about 90% bearish. So I am expecting a move back down off the highs for the British pound, and we've obviously got our position in here. You know, this might be a few weeks coming. I can't see anything much higher at the moment. We've had this rally back up. I think we're going to have a little bit of a fall back down, but this 1.19 to 1 position is fairly bearish, and as you see on the RSI, we're coming down quite nicely. It's quite a sharp turn down. Had I had a trend line up there, you know, we would have caught it about here, but there you go. Euro dollar, we're just about got our first trade in a slight bit of profit here. I'm not rushing with this. I don't see much more upside in it, to be quite honest, and that's a famous last words with the euro. But we have the same position again with the euro, where we've got a 1.64 to 1 bearish stance by the commercials, but this is about 100% of the, or 110% of the previous bearish position that has been taken. So this is an extreme bearish position over the last 5 years for the commercials of the euro, and I am expecting quite a nice breakdown on this. But USD JPY, we've seen a little bit of strength in this pair, a bit of strength in the dollar, a little bit of weakness in the Japanese yen. We have a commercials ratio of 3.75 to 1 long the Japanese yen, short the US dollar. So we've just come up underneath the 50 at the moment on the RSI. No, actually it's just a tad over. So I am waiting for it to break the trend line. I thought there'd be a little bit more upside to this. We'll see how it goes on for the week. What I want is for it to go up nicely and then come back down at a steep angle and cut through the trend line. We'll see where that goes. I have got one small trade in at the moment. I'm not really rushing. The crosses are much better on this. I am bullish the US dollar, but more bullish the Japanese yen, so that the crosses I think are a better risk reward. USD CAD, we've seen further weakness in this pair. The figures that we had out on Friday, I think it was, yeah, Friday, for the Canadian dollars were pretty sensational, but I am expecting this to turn round and go back up. We've got a couple of trades in. As we start coming into profit, I'll be adding to my winning trades. Just below the 50 on the RSI. A little bit of a waiting game at the moment, I'm afraid. This is the USD Swiss franc. We're having a little bit of a pullback at the moment, but we have an extreme 7.17 to 1 long ratio for the commercials. The short ratio of the speculators is only 2.72, so we are quite heavily biased towards a strong Swiss franc. We're just below the 50 on the RSI, and I'm waiting to see a nice downturn in this. We've got a little bit of resistance just above us. We'll see how that goes, but I feel very confident with this trade. And confidence is the wrong thing to have in Forex, but New Zealand dollar, US dollar, absolutely no trades on this. I do feel that we're going to see a bounce in the New Zealand dollar. We've come down onto a support, which is quite a major support. We are still below the 50 on the RSI. If we break up through, I see this coming back quite a way. If you look at the commitment of traders report that I did on Sunday, I can show you the reasons on that, but I really do see this making a little bit of a bounce, but well, we'll watch it, see where it goes. I'd rather sell it back down than buy it on the up. Silver, I've got a second trade here just in profit. I had a trade on yesterday which I got knocked out of for a very small profit. We're coming down towards the 30.9 and starting to flat off a little bit. I think we're going to see more weakness in the silver price, especially as we have the dollar goes up in value. That should give us weakness in silver. So let's see how that goes, but it's looking pretty good at the moment. I think you will see across here we just have a little bit of support where we are, so it might take 2 or 3 days just to break down through that. That'll be nice. And we've also got a lot of weakness or considerable downside on the oil, which is also giving us a weakness, or it should over the next week or so give us weakness on the Canadian dollar, which of course will help with our other trades. Okay, well, thank you all for watching. Hopefully see you again tomorrow.